Okay, awesome. So today I am hanging out with Thomas K.R. Stovall, who is a good friend of mine. He is a crazy awesome entrepreneur and runs a tech company called Candid. So what Candid does is it allows you to get feedback from an audience or from a group, and you give them a really quick 60-second micro survey, and you get a ton of feedback real time live from that group, from that audience. Everybody gets out their phone, they real time give feedback on the event or whatever it is, and it comes through Candid's platform. So to me, what's really, really crazy and awesome is that Thomas has done some crazy ninja tricks getting developers to help him build his platform, like $1 million worth of development work done without paying any money up front. And so I brought Thomas on to hang out with us today because this is a crazy story, first of all, and I'm really excited to learn some stuff. He's got some crazy ninja tips and ideas he's sharing with us. So Thomas, can you just sort of tell us a little bit about Candid and what it is that you do, and then we'll sort of jump into the meat of like how you've done this crazy thing.
Yeah, for sure. So Candid, like you said, it's a micro feedback platform. We crowdsource feedback from large groups to turn any room into an instant focus group, whether that's a dining room using micro surveys integrated into dinner plates and the side of cocktail glasses and on napkins, or it can be in an event setting like you mentioned, where maybe there's 500 people or 5,000, and you got breakout sessions, you got a keynote, and you want to find out really quick from the audience, hey, how do we do? And so you might do something like text the word Candid to 41411. You get a one question survey back on your phone in 10 seconds, nothing to download, nothing to sign up for. And we could set stuff like that up for any organization. So there are a couple things that are really important when you're approaching people for partnership that put you out ahead of the rest of the pack, in my experience. Number one was to really, really make an interruptive first impression. So, and that first impressions aren't necessarily just when you meet somebody, it's also when you're presenting people you already know with a new opportunity or idea. So when I came to him, the first conversation we had wasn't, hey, I've got this idea, what do you think about it? It was, hey, I've got these detailed mock-ups that show scenario, like scene by scene, what it would look like to do this new idea that I've been kicking around. And I've been thinking, if we were to get it done, here's the exact feature set that I'd be thinking through. What do you think? Could something like this work? And so it's kind of, hey, from an advisement standpoint, I think this could be cool. I didn't approach him right away with like, we should work together. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking we should work together.
Right.
So I approached him and said, what do you think about this? Could this be something that has legs? And when he said, yeah, after we walked through step by step what the experience was like, then I said, well, what would it cost to build? You know, what kind of time frame? And so I got him kind of engaged in the process with me. And then we started kicking around the tires for, well, what might it look like if we worked on this together? And that's where the conversation started. But it was really getting right in there with a fully fledged out idea that he could see and all the way through before I started to talk about, you know, us working together.
So what was the time frame that this happened in? Is this one meeting where you're like, here's my mock-up, let me walk you through, what do you think it would cost? Is this one meeting or is this multiple meetings?
So over the course of one meeting, we got to a place where it was like, we should explore doing this together. Over the course of a few meetings, we got to a place where we kind of had documented for this feature set, it would probably take this amount of time and this amount of, you know, actual software development man hours, because he had to go back to his team and find out from them, what does this look like? But he had an idea in general, and each conversation, we began to narrow it down pretty quickly. And that's how we went about the process. But it was very quick from idea to, we're going to do this thing.
But at this point, they're thinking of you as like a potential paying client in full. Like that's what they're looking at, right? They're not, you may be using the word partnership.
No. I try to set the context. As soon as we started talking about what might this look like, I set really, really clear expectations. I don't try to, some people believe in kind of holding back information that could kill a deal as long as they can.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I tell people the entire context up front. So if we move forward and have any more conversation, we both know what this is. There's no
Right.
there's no money in the bank. And I've got some great people that I can call on. I've got a guy. So at that time, I had a good friend who was a VP of a very large global firm who I talked to about this and shown him. And I said, look, if I were to get this thing started, could it be a value add to your business? And if so, would you be willing to give me a signed letter of intent on your company's letterheads, global firm, saying when this thing is built, we'll use it? And so I had things like that in my back pocket that
Interesting.
I approached my potential partner with to say, look, I don't have the money right now, but I do have the vision, and I've already been talking to people that are willing to give some commitment around this.
And like, here's a letter proving that kind of thing.
Yeah. At that point, I had the verbal commitment that I would get the letter if I could get the commitment to get the letter.
Okay. You didn't even have the letter at this point.
No, I had a verbal commitment that I shared.
This is so interesting to me because I often hear people freaked out about going to a developer and telling them your idea in case they might steal it. But it sounds like you were like, here's everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody cares about your big ideas, especially developers. And what I mean by that is everybody's scared to share their idea, but the more stuff you've done, you realize the cost of building a new business it's immense. Not just the financial cost, the mental cost, the energy, the time away from your family, figure out this new customer dynamic and what's the one word you need to change in an email to connect with them. There's so much. And no one wants to do that work after you've done it a couple of times. You know, investors, they want to find projects that are already moving and have traction where people have figured out that stuff. And developers want to work with people that have a clear idea of what they're doing. They have a skill set. They're not trying to build every project that comes their way. So your idea, they literally do not care about. Exactly.
Okay. So you find someone that you know in your network, you go to them and you have this meeting. You don't even have like signed letters of intent at this point yet. You're just like, hey, I've had these conversations with people. They're in, if we can get this built. Tell me more about this company. Like, who are these developers?
So I'm coming to them with clear mock-ups, clear layout of the features and other verbal stuff. So there's something there, but there's not definite anything. So the type of company that I'm looking for in that type of situation is a company, either if I don't know them already, I've had some sort of personal interaction with them, or I'm 1 degree away and I can get a warm introduction. But the structure of that company, and having done this now 2 times, because I did it the first time with that company, but I also have done this 3 years later with a company that I had never met before, and I got to $100,000 plus in development, nothing out of my pocket in literally 2 conversations. The type of company is a company that is growing. You know, they're not at the place where they're kind of hungry for new contracts. I won't say hungry, where they're starving, where, you know, they can't pay the bills. They're paying the bills. They're generating surplus. They're doing, you know, probably mid to high 7 figures.
Okay.
And maybe they've got a team of 15 to 25 people, somewhere around there. They're large enough where they could actually take an employee and say, look, we got this cool project that's new, and, you know, it's a little bit risky, but we're going to have you work on it for a while and see what happens. They've got the space to do that, but they're not so big where, you know, they operate only by budget. And if it doesn't fit into their budget, into their paying scheme of clients, they're not doing it. You need a company that's still entrepreneurial. So they got space to invest, but they've got the mindset. They still see themselves as like that early stage company that's entrepreneurial themselves. That's the sweet spot. Because again, I like to work inside of my warm network, so I'm not reaching out to companies cold. I attend a lot of events, and as I'm out, I'll just be talking to people. I'll also let people that are in my circle know that I'm looking for this. So like, hey, do you know any shops that have done technology partnerships? And so as you're having those conversations, in general, your antennas are up when anybody mentions that they own a development firm or they're maybe a decision maker at one. And so I'd just be asking the types of questions that we're talking about. Well, how big is your team? And have you guys ever partnered on projects before? I ask people exactly what I want to know.
Yeah. So what if people don't know someone directly? They can't think of anyone off the top of their head that they know who runs a development firm or knows someone who does. Do you just start going to events and telling people that that's what you're interested in and finding
Yep.
connections? Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you put yourself in places that are going to increase your likelihood of meeting the types of people you want to meet. Find developer meetups and things like that, events that these people would attend. Be in that room, even if you don't know what's being talked about, right?
Right. Like,
Still want
what
to
are
be
you
in the
talking
room to
about?
meet the people that you need to meet. And
Interesting.
you'll probably be one of just a handful of other people like you that are in that room, which makes you stand out even more. And it's easier to meet people.
Okay, awesome. So you have gone to you found these developers,
Mm-hmm.
you sit down with them, you get them sort of excited about this vision you have. They say yes in the first few meetings.
Usually within one meeting, we're at a place where it's like, this could really work.
Mm-hmm.
And the follow-up is usually what seals the deal. It's not somebody being excited about you. People are excited all the time about new opportunities, and that fades very quickly. The follow-up is really where you make that interruptive first impression that I was talking about. And that's where people are like, you know what, I really want to work with this person.
So
So
how did you follow up?
what I follow up with is stuff that I've prepared long before I meet them. Number one, I've generally got every single thing documented in terms of what I want to see in terms of the feature set. So I've got usually a sketched out mock-up of with circles and A1, A2 circling all the different icons and features that I would have, which is linked to a spreadsheet that's got each one of those things labeled out with a description. And beyond those sketches, I'll usually go to 99 Designs or something like that and get each one of the screens of the website or platform mocked up in photorealistic detail. And when I say mocked up, I'm literally talking about down to the metadata. So I don't have any placeholder data on the mockups. So that allows them to be able to clearly see screen by screen, filter by filter, pop-up by pop-up, exactly what the user experience is in my mind, which eliminates all of the misunderstanding that you usually have when you're trying to use a document that's written out and pass that on to a developer. There's so much room for ambiguity. But if I show you what's supposed to happen, when I click here and exactly what's on the next screen, even the metadata, as a developer, you now can read between the lines and say, oh, I get it. This is what he means by that. In order to make that happen, I have to do this in the background.
Right.
They can build it appropriately.
It's funny because I think people don't realize that a lot of the work for a development firm is this back and forth trying to speak the same language with the non-technical person. And so you're offering them the ability to skip past all of that and just get right to work, which is what they want to be doing anyway.
That's what makes it something that has it for them be an easy yes, because here's this person with this incredibly clear vision that's documented, that, you know, the mock-ups are there. They know exactly what they're trying to do. Every step of and all of it is right there in that first email follow-up within an hour of the first conversation. So that now lets me know, okay, he didn't just put this together. He was already prepared for this exact moment long before we met. It makes it really easy for people to say yes, because they're generally not having that experience of an entrepreneur being that clear about what's getting built. So they know it'll be easy if we work together.
Right, like no ambiguity here.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So this is really useful. I'm learning a ton through this. I feel like I need to try this tactic now. But I think like it comes down to being super prepared and knowing exactly what you're looking for going in, and then also leveraging a little bit of your network or going to get that network to find someone, not just like a random developer. And we're not talking about one person, individual, one shop developers. There's a specific type of company that is a good fit for this.
Yeah, you want to work with people who have something to lose. And what I mean by that is if you're working, a lot of times people will look for just kind of one person that maybe they do some development and they're working a full-time job.
That's what I have in my head when I think about like, oh, you hire a developer, it's like one person. But you're saying no.
I actually don't go that route. There's nothing wrong with that, but there are some challenges that come with it, like the time frame, the energy, the momentum that gets lost when somebody's working a full 8-hour day, sometimes more, and then they're going to work on your project kind of when they get around to it after hours. If that person has a family, there's time that they're taking away from their family. And once the excitement fades, Tara, and you're down to deadlines and you're 2 months in on development,
Yeah.
it takes more than excitement to keep people going. And sometimes those people that just have a full-time career, they're taking care of their family, they get to a point where they're like, look, I just can't do this anymore. I'm going to have to leave the project. And now you as a non-technical entrepreneur, you're kind of left holding the bag. And you're like, I have to start back over because nobody else has the code. You didn't know they could put it in the code repository. So you can't get in contact with them. When you're working with a larger firm, that mid-sized firm that's maybe doing, like I said, some millions of dollars per year, you've got a contract. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do, you actually could take legal action that would impact a real business that they're running. And they've got something to lose. Whereas that person that's just working a full-time job, they tell you they can't work it anymore. And what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to sue them. You don't have money to sue them for real. And they're not going to pay you if you win. So that's what I mean.
Okay. Really awesome. I feel like people are going to want more of your business and entrepreneurial thoughts. Where can folks find you online?
Yeah. So I have a entrepreneur page on Facebook that I actually recently started. It's Facebook.com/Thomas K.R. Stovall. Okay. On Twitter, I'm Thomas K.R. Stovall, but mostly what I'm going to do is just send you links to Facebook. And on LinkedIn, LinkedIn.com/Thomas K.R. Stovall as well. So that's the best way to connect.
Awesome. Thomas does these really good live videos on Facebook where he walks you through a day in a life. For folks who have B2B companies as well, you want to see this, what it looks like to run a tech company, to be in meetings, to be all around your city, closing deals. He's got a really good sort of live streaming of this. You should check it out. I'll put links in. Okay, awesome. Okay, we'll get you all the links for that. Thank you for hanging out with me, Thomas.
Absolutely. Had a great time. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.